Hey YouTube, NC Shootist here. Wanted to bring you a video today on how to disassemble and reassemble a Remington 760 Gamemaster. This particular rifle is chambered in 30-06 and it's a 5-shot pump action. There's a box magazine that goes here that holds 4 shots, and then it can hold 1 in the chamber. So what we're going to need today, and your rifle needs may be different. You'll need a small hammer. You'll need a 1/16 inch punch, or excuse me, 1/8 inch punch, and you'll need a 3/16 inch punch, a slotted screwdriver or straight head screwdriver, and a rubber mallet. If your particular rifle is kind of seized up, it might need a mallet to be able to break the barrel loose from the receiver. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the first step in the process is to, number one, make sure it's not loaded. Okay, this one has the box magazine removed. I've already checked the chamber, make sure there's nothing in it. All right, so we'll go ahead and take our slotted screwdriver, and we'll begin by taking off the 4-end grip. Okay, we take the screw out, take the 4-end grip off, we'll set that aside. Okay, after we remove the 4-end grip, the next step we'll want to do is remove the trigger plate pins. Okay, there's a large one in rear, smaller one in front. So you'll want to take your 1/8 inch punch and punch these out. Alright, after you get the pins out, what you want to do is grab the trigger group, okay, pull up and then out, and then there's the whole trigger group right there, and we'll go ahead and set that aside as well. And we'll move on to the next step. Okay, after we've removed the 4-end grip and we've removed the trigger group, you'll notice on the action tube there's a small hole. So this is the tube that actually the 4-end grip attaches to. So you'll notice there's some holes in this tube, and what you'll want to do is take a large punch or a screwdriver that'll fit into that hole, and what you'll want to do is unscrew this action tube. Okay, and now, depending on how old your rifle is and depending on how many times it's been taken apart, this might take a while, so might take some muscle to break it free. So what you want to do is just keep taking your punch or your screwdriver and working that action tube away from the receiver. Okay, so this is going to take a while, so I'll go ahead and keep unscrewing, and then I'll let you guys skip all the excitement and we'll get on to the next step. Welcome back, viewers. You got to skip the exciting part of unscrewing the action tube. So now that we've got that free from the bolt that comes out of the receiver, we'll go ahead and take the barrel and the bolt and the action tube, and we'll free those from the receiver. Okay, and you'll want to be careful. This is your dust cover, and this one's made out of plastic, so you'll want to be careful not to lose this and not to break it. All right, so here's the receiver. Now this bolt that holds the barrel on, it's set in the receiver so it doesn't come out. You don't need to worry about cleaning that. So now that you've got your receiver open, you can go ahead and clean out the inside, get that nice and shiny. Okay, and then what you can do also, if you are so inclined, is to take your bolt assembly out and give that a good cleaning, good oiling. Okay, and then you'll notice the back of the action tube, the slide, I guess. You'll notice it's kind of circular on top here, and your bolt is also circular on top. So what that does is just slide down in there. Okay, so typically what I do when I'm cleaning, I just leave this part of the action tube and the 4N tube and leave that attached, and just take out my bolt and clean it, and then clean my barrel with this still attached. And typically what I'll do is put a rag in here to keep it from scratching the bluing as I'm cleaning the barrel. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll start with reassembling the rifle. Okay, so what you want to do is take your barrel assembly and your forearm assembly. Okay, you take your bolt with the circular part down. Okay, we'll stick that in there. All right, and then you'll also want to get your bolt seated back into the barrel. Okay, and you'll notice this particular bolt has a locking lug design, so it locks up, and it's got quite a few lugs in there. I think it's 4 lugs to keep the barrel securely attached to the bolt. Make sure nothing blows out. Okay, now what you'll do is you'll take your bolt assembly, okay, and you'll tilt it down just a little bit. All right, take your dust cover and set it gently on here. Now here comes the fun part. You've got to try to get all of this back into the rifle. And typically this dust cover likes to move around quite a bit. Doesn't like to cooperate all that much. Okay, and if you're lucky, everything will go in the first time like it's supposed to. Okay, we've got the dust cover in front of the bolt assembly. Okay, and you'll notice there's a little gap here. What we'll do is we'll take a rubber mallet and we'll hit the end of the barrel and get everything seated. All right, now that we've got the barrel back on the rifle, we'll go ahead and take the action tube and we'll start to tighten that up again. So we'll take our punch and we'll just go back in the same holes that we used to loosen it up, and this time we'll tighten it and we'll get it tight to the rifle. Okay, as we finish up tightening up the action tube, you'll see there's a small gap here. So we'll want to keep tightening that action down until it's pretty tight. So you'll want to put some force on it. Okay, you don't want to tighten it too much, but you'll want to tighten it enough to where the gaps in the rifle are gone. Okay, so we don't want to put it on there with too much torque, but we do want it to be tight. Okay, next what we'll want to do is go ahead and put the trigger group back in. So you'll want to make sure that your trigger group, the hammer is cocked back and this disconnect lever is up, and also make sure the safety's on, so just in case you pull the trigger when you're putting the trigger group back in, it won't mess anything up. All right, so we'll go ahead and seat the trigger group front first. And then we'll go ahead and we'll slide it back into place. Okay, and you'll want to make sure that you get everything lined up. All right, and then what we're going to do is put our pins back in, but instead of going left to right, this time we're going to go right to left, and we'll seat those pins back in the receiver. All right, so we'll take our large pin first. Okay, we'll put that in, and then we'll just give it a few taps, make sure it's seated. Okay, then take our small pin, put it up front, go ahead and tap it back in. Okay. All right, now that the trigger group is back in and the receiver is back on, what we'll do is we'll go ahead and put the fore end on. Okay, the fore end goes on just the way it came off. You'll notice there's a a tube cut into the foregrip. So we'll go ahead and slide this back on. Okay. And we'll go ahead and put the action all the way to the rear. Go ahead and get this forearm screw put in. Hey guys, almost forgot to mention we need to do some function testing with our rifle before we take it back out into the field. So what we need to do first, make sure it's unloaded, no magazine, open the action up, make sure there's nothing in the chamber. Alright, we'll go ahead and close the action. Alright, we'll test the trigger, keep holding the trigger down, cycle the action again, test reset, pull the trigger. Okay, now we'll put it on safe, try it again, trigger doesn't pull, take it off safe. There we go. So that's the disassembly and reassembly of the Remington 760 Gamemaster. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a thumbs up. Appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. God bless. We'll see you next time.